It was called the Great War and the War to End All Wars. It was neither. World War I was the violent, agonizing birth of the modern age. A 4-year industrial slaughter that toppled for ancient empires, redrew the world map, and killed more than 16 million people. But how did the most advanced, civilized nations on Earth go completely crazy almost overnight? To understand the chaos, you have to look at Europe in 1914. It was a powder keg of ambition and paranoia. The spark was lit on June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was assassinated by Gavrilo Princip, a young Serbian nationalist. In any other era, this might have remained a local tragedy. But because of those alliances, the assassination kicked off a chain reaction that no one could stop. The July crisis unfolded like doomsday dominoes. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia to crush the nationalist threat. Russia mobilized its massive army to protect its Serbian ally. Germany, seeing Russia mobilized, declared war on Russia and its ally, France. When Germany invaded neutral Belgium to get a clear shot at Paris, Great Britain jumped in to defend the Belgian borders. Within weeks, the entire continent was ablaze. Generals on both sides fought with 19th century tactics against 20th century technology. They expected a war of movement and glory, promising troops they would be home by Christmas. Instead, they got hell on earth. The German advance was halted at the Marne, and the opposing armies tried to outflank each other until they ran out of land at the North Sea. The result was the Western Front, a 450-mile scar of trenches stretching across Europe. The war froze into a bloody stalemate. This was a new kind of horror, a war of attrition. Soldiers lived in mud, surrounded by rats, lice, and rotting corpses, waiting for the whistle to go over the top. Technology had turned the battlefield into a slaughterhouse. Machine guns could mow down battalions in minutes. Heavy artillery pulverized the landscape, burying men alive. Poison gas, chlorine and mustard gas, choked the lungs and blinded the eyes, adding a terrifying psychological element to the combat. The tank and the airplane made their debuts, but for years, nothing could break the deadlock. Battles like Verdun and the Somme saw hundreds of thousands of casualties for the gain of just a few miles of ruined earth. It wasn't just a European war. The Ottoman Empire joined the Central Powers, expanding the conflict to the Middle East and the snowy mountains of the Caucasus. Japan and colonial troops from Africa and India fought for the Allies. It was truly a world war. By 1917, the nations were collapsing under the strain. Russia exploded into a communist revolution, killed the Tsar, and pulled out of the war. It looked like Germany might finally win, until the United States entered the fight. American industrial might and fresh troops overwhelmed the exhausted German lines. The guns finally fell silent on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. The aftermath was brutal. The Treaty of Versailles officially ended the war but failed to secure the peace. It dismantled the Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian empires, carving up the Middle East with arbitrary borders that cause conflict to this day. But most fatefully, it forced Germany to accept total war guilt and pay crippling economic reparations. Tragically, the humiliation and ruin felt in Germany didn't end the violence. It only paused it. It planted the seeds of resentment that would allow Adolf Hitler to rise, leading directly to an even deadlier conflict just 20 years later. World War I didn't save the world. It broke it, creating the volatile, fractured reality we live in today.